Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So we're getting on Christmas. It's not too soon to start thinking about decorating your holiday cards and boxes and ornaments and all the other things. And I saw that my holly was looking particularly nice today. I've got a lot of berries going on all around Dandelion Cottage. So there are crab apples, there are winter berries, the holly berries. The birds did take all of the fringe tree fruit, so that's all gone. But there's still loads and loads of really fun things to paint around here today. And I have let me get myself on here a second. There we go. I have another pop-up shop coming right up, and this one starts November 1st. It's going to go until November 17th, and it's at the Artisans Guild Annex right in town here in Norfolk, Connecticut. And I've got a whole lineup of classes, a really varied and wonderful lineup of holiday things that I think you're going to be interested in. So if you're in the neighborhood, if you want to go for a little fall trip, come visit Norfolk. This is a great time to do it. Everything's looking really beautiful outside right now. The weather is fantastic. And you can find out about all of these things here at dandelioncottagedesign.com. If you go to the event section, you will find the live classes coming right up for the holiday pop-up. So please check that out. And if you're watching on Facebook, there is a link. If you look for the Dandelion Cottage Design logo, you'll see that there's a link there. It will take you right to the list of all the class schedules and how to register. So please check that out. But in preparation for that, one of the classes that I will be offering will be a watercolor holly class. So I thought we'd do a little preview of that, of what you can do with the holly motif. And two of the other classes are going to involve calligraphy. So there's one for broad point calligraphy and one for brush calligraphy. These are all the longer Sunday workshops. So that's what I'm going to be starting today. And tomorrow I will not be here for Paper Crafting Thursday because I will be moving the rest of my things into the shop and setting it up. But I will probably come on at some point just to give you a little update and take you on a tour so that you can see how the pop-up shop is coming along. So I think that's all the news for now. Please make sure that you are subscribed to Notes from Dandelion Cottage so that you will stay up to date on all of these classes and workshops I have coming right up. They're going to go by fast. We've only got about 2 weeks, and then we're right into the midst of the holidays. So now is the time. All right, let's get busy painting. So as always, I'm going to be using a limited palette today. So here are my paints. I'm using red, blue, and yellow. And I've got a piece of the Fluid 100 watercolor paper. This is a 140-pound cold press paper, so it's got a little bit of a tooth to it. I'm going to be experimenting with the cold press paper for the calligraphy. Usually I would use a hot press paper, but I thought I'd give it a try today. I'm not going to be showing you the calligraphy portion. I'm just going to be doing the holly for this video. And I'm just checking here, make sure that you can see me and hear me okay. And if you can, let me know where you're tuning in from and say hi. Okay, and I'm going to grab a couple of brushes and a pencil. And the idea behind this painting is to keep it simple. All right, so what I'm hoping to do is to have a very simple motif that could be copied on multiples of cards or ornaments or whatever the usage may be. So just a couple of leaves, a couple of berries, and just painted very simply. And this specimen is really pretty. I think you can see that there. It's got a lot of berries on it. The leaves are very glossy, and so they're picking up the light, and they're just really, really pretty. And my idea is to have some kind of lettering going off to the right here, and to put the holly design in this upper left-hand corner. And so with that, and I will give you a close-up of the pencil sketch in just a minute. I know it's going to be hard for you to see it right at first. And I'm not going to put every single leaf that is on the specimen in the painting. I'm just going to be adding the ones that contribute to my overall design. So remember, when you're working from your specimens, unless you're doing a very careful nature study, which in that case you may want to get it as accurate as possible, but for a design study, you're looking to place things in a pleasing way so that all the elements are represented. You've got line and color and texture and value, all the things that you hear me talking about all the time. And if you're new here and you haven't heard me talking about these things, please check out the watercolor paint box subscription, where each month excuse me, we paint. Oh, time for coffee. I hope everybody brought their coffee with you. All right. This is what happens when you don't talk to anybody all morning, and then you turn on the camera and the microphone and you go live, and all of a sudden you've got no voice. So this little specimen is actually two little branches. They are connected at the base, but I've got this sort of secondary section over here, which is very sweet. And now there is a leaf here that would go right off the edge of the paper, but I'm going to shift that over just a little bit to make sure that it stays within the boundaries. So that's part of what I'm talking about when I say to design your painting. And I think I'm going to end it there. So I'm going to add a little bit of stem, and I'm not going to continue with the additional leaves. And now I'm just looking for some prominent features. Of course, we've got these wonderful points, little spiny bits on the holly leaf. I'm making note of the direction of each of the leaves, which way the center vein is pointing. Now, if you are a stamper, you may want to go into your stamp collection, and I'm sure you'll be able to find a nice holly stamp that you could paint from. If you're more comfortable doing it that way, that's another option. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see how that looks so far. So there it is. Now, if you have a kneaded rubber eraser, so I'm talking about one of these erasers that you can pull and shape and just kind of make them very soft and flexible. You can also use this as to blot up some of the excess graphite. So I'm just gently pressing, and and that helps to make the pencil line a little bit lighter. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for a very light guide that's going to help me know where the placement of all the things is. So now, just going to mix up a little bit of green, and there's a little bit of everything on my palette here. So this is a nice neutral tone, which is what happens when you mix all of your three primaries together. But in this case, I'm just going to grab some extra yellow. So there's some yellow, and grab some of my blue, and I'm just mixing up a kind of a medium green, and I'm keeping it light. I don't want to go dark yet. I'm just keeping it light, and I'm going to begin with a kind of a pale yellowish green underpainting. Now, there are some places on my leaves that I want to reserve for the highlights because they're very shiny. And the stem on this specimen is a very pale yellowish green, so I'm going to go ahead and sketch that in with the same color. So there is my first wash. Okay, so it's just a very pale indication of where all the things are. Now these holly berries are a very bright red, but they're kind of a warm red. So I don't want to, I'm going to mix my red and my yellow together, but I'm going to get them started with just a little pale yellow underpainting. Again, being careful to leave an area for my highlight using the white of the paper for the highlights. All right, and then now I'm going to add a little more blue to my leaf mixture, and going back to that middle green tone. So just not too light, not too dark, just sort of right in the middle there. And I can go back in now and begin to darken some of the areas on these leaves. And I'm using a round brush that has a beautiful point on it, and so that point is also helping me to refine my drawing as I go. Okay, and then just a little bit darker on my stem. One more leaf over on the bottom right. And I think you can start to see things beginning to shape up a little bit here. There we go. Now to get back to those berries, I'm going into my red and I'm mixing a little bit of yellow in there to warm that red up a little bit. This is sort of a cooler red that I have on my palette. So here's my red. Adding a drop of yellow just to warm that up a tiny bit. And I'm using a fairly dense mixture of paint here. And now begin to sketch that in a little bit. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. And while that's still damp, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit stronger mixture on the shadow side of the berry so that can just sort of mix together on the page. Same thing for this group. Excuse me. And then my single berry over on this side. And then there's actually a little, just a little bit of one peeking out from underneath this leaf. All right, so it's already starting to read as holly. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix a darker green. So this time I'm taking that same yellow and blue mixture, just adding a little bit more blue because the shadow areas of these leaves is quite dark. I can go ahead and add a couple of strokes. Soften those edges. So I'm just finishing up now, just putting a couple of accents here and there. I am paying attention to my drawing now, making sure I've got everything placed. I've got some of the characteristics of the individual leaves. And the each of the leaves has its own little stem that connects to the main stem, so just adding a few of those. And I'm thinking I'm going to change this shape a little bit, add another point there. It's better. Hey Cheryl, hello from Italy. I saw that you were visiting Italy. That's so exciting. What time is it there? Is it day or night? And I hope you brought your paints with you. When I traveled to Italy, I brought a watercolor kit with me to Tuscany, and I had the most wonderful time. I had so much fun painting the ruins and the beautiful Tuscan landscape. I know you're busy, but if you get up early when everybody else is sleeping in, you can give yourself an hour or two to just get out there and do some early morning exploring before everybody gets up, and it's wonderful. Get yourself a nice cappuccino. All right, so I'm just going to, some of these berries have a little dot on their axis, on their central axis, where the center of the berry connects opposite where it connects to the stem. And I just want to, I'm not going to put it on every single one of them, but there's a couple of them that I think would benefit from a little added detail. And to do that, I'm going to mix my red and my blue together with a little drop of yellow, so that I have a kind of a nice dark brownish color. And I'm mixing this up so it's nice and strong. And I'm just going to add one right here and one over here, and I think that'll do it. Okay, just a little extra detail. So there's my holly, and Cheryl says it's 5:36 p.m. No paints on tour this time. We got to get you going with those paints, Cheryl. And they went to Capri. How wonderful. How beautiful. All right, well, you're going to have to keep all of us updated with your travels so that we can track you on the map and enjoy your trip vicariously. Thank you for tuning in. It's so fun. You know, the wonderful world of the internet connecting us around the world. I love that so much. It's probably my favorite part of this whole adventure of going live is being able to connect with so many people in so many different places. I love that. You know, Cheryl, even just a pencil and paper, just to start getting into the habit of doing some sketches while you're sipping your cappuccino at the cafe and looking at all those wonderful things. When you're on a trip and you bring your sketchbook with you, I find that revisiting, when looking at those pictures, revisiting those places, you remember so much more when you've painted them or sketched them, because you have that moment of very careful observation, and you're brought immediately back to the sights and the sounds and the smells and who you met and who you talked to in a way that you just don't do with photographs. So all of you out there who follow me, I urge you to make sure that you get yourself a nice little sketchbook that you can slip into your pocket or your bag or whatever the case may be. Keep it in your car and just have it ready to go. And you'll find that your drawing improves very quickly, and it's a lot of fun. It's a really nice way to spend a little time of each day. All right, well, I'm just fussing now with this. I'm gonna leave this alone and let this dry. So here's my, put it on this side. Here's my holly. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go ahead and see if I have time to add a little bit of lettering to this this afternoon. I don't have a lot of time because I do have to pack up for moving more things into the pop-up shop. But if I don't get to it today, I will get to it over the weekend, and I'll show you how the holly motif looks with a little bit of calligraphy mixed into it. So go out there, get yourself some holly, and start painting. Cheryl's on her way to dinner. Have bon appetit. Have a wonderful dinner, and I will catch up with you all tomorrow at some point. I'll give you a quick live update on the pop-up and how the setup is looking. And until then, stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.